All right, so now that we've talked about simplifying radicals, now let's talk about the distance formula. And again, you should have done Pythagorean theorem in middle school. So if you want to use Pythagorean theorem, that's fine. But I'm going to show you the distance formula because that is given in, you guessed it, our formula sheet. So I'm going to find the distance formula, which is right here. And all I have to do is every time is copy that right into my calculator so that I have no confusion. So I'm going to take into my calculator, see it matches right here. So we can look from that side. I'm going to go ahead and do the square root, literally just typing this in, the square root of, and I see parentheses squared plus another parentheses squared. So I'm going to do it that way because it'll be faster. Parentheses squared plus another parentheses squared. Oops. Shift 6. There we go. And then I see something minus something. Okay, so this is what I'm going to have copied into my calculator each time. And actually, you could type in x2 as well just to keep you, in fact, let's go ahead and do it to make sure you put the numbers in the right spot. So I'm just copying exactly the formula. Okay, so that's my formula. All right, so you're asked, so there's going to be a couple of representations. You can be asked from 2 points, find the distance between those 2 points. Or you could be asked from a coordinate plane, meaning they give you coordinates and they ask you to find the distance between something. So we're going to start off by looking from 2 points. So find the distance between these 2 points. So using the distance formula, it looks like I need to know what x1, x2, y2, and y1 are. The radical must always be simplified. That's why we started off with simplifying. The steps are basically label the coordinates x1, y1, and x2, y2. And it doesn't matter which one you label as long as you put the ones together and the twos together. So I'll just do it in the order that I see it. And this is going to be the important part. Please label your coordinates. Do not be lazy. So x1 and y1 because it goes x and then y. x2 because it's the second one, and y2. Please, 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 before you come bring me any work, I have to see these labeled. Okay, so once you've labeled the coordinates, it says just plug them into the distance formula. So you're looking at where it is. So for example, I want x2 right here. So I'm going to look, what is x2? -8. So I'm going to replace that with -8. And you're going to replace it exactly as it is. Do not change anything. I'm going to go to x1. x1 is -5, so I'm going to press -5. Notice I did not discount the negative because there's already a negative here. I'm just following what it says. y2 is 6, so I'm going to come right here. y2 is 6, and then I'm looking for y1, which is 3. Okay, so once I have that, I have my distance formula. So let's copy this back into our notes. So I have -8 minus -5 plus 6 minus 3. And I get that the decimal version is 4.2426406.812. But you can see in here, it doesn't tell me how to round it. So if it doesn't tell me how to round it, I must leave it in radical form. So let's go ahead and work on that. Let's leave this in radical form. So again, I have my answer here. Remember, we always start off with whatever it is. We keep the answer there and we're just matching what it is. All right, so since I just want to know what's underneath the radicand, I'm just going to take everything underneath the radical, which is called the radicand. Control C, Control V, and you can see that I have 18. So what that means is if I replace this with 18, you're going to get the exact same thing because it's everything underneath the radicand. Perfect. So now I know that I'm okay. So this distance is equal to radical 18. But we know we have to do what? Simplify all radicals. And as we did in our previous video, what you do to simplify a radical is you start off with a radicand, which is a number underneath the radical, and we're going to check 2. 2 works. So that's 2 times 9. All right, then we're going to check 9 divided by 2. That does not work because it gives me a decimal. Divided by 3, yes, it works. So 9 gives me 3 and 3, and then I'm done because 3 cannot be broken down anymore. So remember, you write out underneath the radicand 2, and I said make sure on the previous video that you type in everything under the denominator, with the denominator, sorry, and then whatever your leftover is, because you're not looking for 6, you're looking for 18. So my leftover is 3, which makes it 18, which is perfect. So that's what I have on my work, and that's what I also have on my calculator. Now I'm going to take this 18 and break it down to my prime factorization like we talked about in our previous video, which you can see still matches. Now I need to take out books. So the question I need to ask myself is determine the index, which is square because it's square root. So 2 is my index. That's how many books, or I'm looking for twins. So move those outside one at a time. Anything left uncircled will remain under the radical. So before I start to move, let me go ahead and put all of this under my radical, leave a little space for the things that I'm going to take out. So 2 times 3 is underneath my radical. I'm going to change my color real quick. All right, let's start taking out books or twins. I see 2 people that look the same, or I see 2 cards that are the same that make what? 1 book outside. All right, anything else left? And I can see it still matches, so I'm okay. Anything else left inside that I can take out? Nope, so I'm done. All right, then the last step is to combine them by multiplication. There's nothing to combine outside. There's nothing to combine inside, so this is what's left. So again, 2 cards make 1 book. All right, so there's nothing to combine, so this answer is 3 radical 2. So there's going to be 2 questions that they're going to ask you. Either they will tell you round it, the distance, or round or simplify the radical. Either way, now you know how to do it. So to find the distance between 2 points, you just put it straight into the calculator as you see it in the formula sheet. Then you put the numbers in after you label, and then you either round or you simplify the radical. So that is from 2 points. I'm going to get us started with this example too, but you're really going to finish it off. I just want to make sure that you're good. So again, you start off with, and please do not be lazy. You see me Xing out, right? I'm starting all the way from scratch because this practice is going to be determined by how many times you can type in the formula that you need. So again, I'm typing in the formula as exactly as I see it, which is parentheses squared plus another parentheses squared. And then within my parentheses, and we said we're just going to go ahead and type it in so that we're not confused. We have x2 minus x1. And in the other parentheses, we have y2 minus y1. Do not be lazy. Clear it out each time because this is the practice that you need. If you don't clear it out, there's no point of you doing anything else. All right, so I've got it typed in. Then now all I need to do is label. So as you can see, draw a triangle to find the perimeter of the triangle. So perimeter is the distance around the whole shape. It says go ahead and join the line. So I'm going to go from A, oops, no, with the highlighter. From A to B as best as you can, and then to C, and then back to A. So there's my triangle. To find the perimeter, we agree that I have to go from A to B, that's one side, then B to C, then C to A. Okay, so that's why this is all written out for you. So now you are going to go ahead and do it now that you've typed this in. And since I need this 3 times, you're going to go ahead and copy it 3 times. And I actually found out since sometimes when taking a quiz, you can't copy. If you hit the settings and hit that, it'll copy. That way you can copy it. All right, so I've copied it 3 times because I need 3. And when I find all 3 distances to find the perimeter, I just need to add those all up and simplify the radicals. All right, so I'm going to find AB for us. So that's this distance here between 2 points. So I'm going to start off by labeling x1, y1, x2, y2. And then find the distance using that by just replacing what I see here. So x1, y1 is 3, 2. So x1 is 3 and y1 is 2. And then on this one, x2, y2 is -1 and -2. So x2 is -1 and y2 is -2. All right, so once I type it in, that's what I get. So again, you copy that for AB. So you need to copy what I have on that calculator right there. And then after that, I need to simplify this because they did not ask me to leave it in as a decimal. So to simplify it, I need to know what it is underneath. So what is the radicand equal to? So all of this, which is 32. Then I can take my radicand of 32. And now I'm breaking that down. So this is radical 32. And I'm not going to break that down because I want you to practice. Actually, I will. Why not? I'm going to do it by hand because honestly, I don't want to type it into the calculator. Then I'm going to check it there. So 32 divided by 2 is going to be 16. Divided by 2 is going to be 8. Divided by 2 is going to be 4. Divided by 2 is going to be 2. And again, you can just check that into the calculator. As a matter of fact, I will right now. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 2s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 2s. And you see the answers match. All right, so 2 cards make a book. So there's 1 book right there. Take that outside. that works. There's another book right there. Take that outside. So times, and you see it's different, but I got a book coming. Oop, not 5, but 2. Yep, not 5, Miss Ainley. Come on now, but 2. Yep, there we go. So I'm still matching. Combine my books, and if you find I'm going too fast, you need to go back to how to simplify radicals, because that's not what we're doing here. So this is equal to 4 radical 2. So each time you find the length, go ahead and simplify the radical as well. And you're going to go ahead and write for AB, this one is 4 radical 2, but make sure that you've copied what I have in the parentheses. So go ahead and do BC and AC, and do remember that you're starting over. So again, I'm just going to delete this so that you don't get confused. So now start with new labels for BC. And when you finish BC, erase them, and then start with new labels for CA. Once you have all of that, then you're going to add everything together to find the perimeter. But just remember, before you can add them together, they have to have the same radicand. Otherwise, they do not combine. Let's practice.